Guys, so I'm Sachi Solanki, founder of The Yarn Story. Our brand is primarily into scarves, stoles, pocket squares, and more. So we started this about 4 years ago with a keen passion and experience in the textile industry, and wanted to bring these products for the Indian market, apt for the Indian market. So yes, we've been online, we've been in about a couple of stores, and post-pandemic, our entire strategies changed for focusing more on online and customers. So I look forward to talking more about my brand and about our products.
Thank you, Sachi. So that's Sachi from The Yarn Story. If you head out to their website, you will find a specific section on resort wear. Okay? Now, if that doesn't get you to that site, I don't know what will, but thank you so much, Sachi. Yes, please.
Hi, my name is Aditi. I'm the founder and creative director of Indus People. So we are a home and lifestyle brand, largely focusing on ceramics. And we have 3 different categories. One is retail. The other is that we manufacture for restaurants and cafes. And thirdly, being corporate gifting. And we are 100% designed and made in India.
So, Aditi is Indus People. If you go to again to the website, you'll see as to how the focus is on being minimal and how the focus is on being functional and being modern as well, and rooted within the concept of India, and I guess that's where the name comes from as well. Happy to have you here, Aditi.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Akanksha Sharma from Netcore Cloud. I think Siju made my life easier already explaining what Netcore does. But just quickly in a sentence, Netcore is a complete full-stack marketing automation, customer experience, and engagement platform that helps your brands, the brands which are sitting here, all the D2C brands ideally customize and personalize their website, app experiences, and make them your customers for life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is Ifat. I'm the business head for Edamama, which is probably the only 100% sustainable brand for children today on a pan-India scale. This brand was conceived and was the dream of Alia Bhatt, and I head the company for her. Our brand is not only about selling apparel, it's more about storytelling, and it's highly content-driven. So like Siju mentioned, our target audience is Gen Alpha. So we catch them young and then try to have a whole lifetime, chain or rather attachment with the brand for the kids. It's more an experiential brand, and it doesn't only talk about selling clothes. It's more about selling a lifestyle, or rather teaching kids an alternative way of life. Thank you.
Thank you, Ifat. Yes, Shishir.
Yeah, hi everyone. This is Shishir. I'm the founder for kalkifashion.com. So we were an offline player, and now we've moved online. We've been online for about 7-8 years now. So we target the international audience. We sell premium ethnic wear. We house 21 in-house designers. And we do private label. We are only D2C. We don't sell on any marketplaces. And the growth has been amazing during the COVID times when everything was shut, and we were able to sell through video shopping and helping all the brides be ready for their big day. So it's been an amazing journey, and looking forward for this conversation.
Thank you so much, Shishir. Tarun, last up.
Hi guys, my name is Tarun Joshi. I'm the founder and CEO of Joint Ventures. We are creating world's largest ecosystem for celebrations. And celebrations, as we all know, requires multiple brands, multiple use cases. So we are creating a house of brands which includes 4 key brands, one being igp.com. That's the world's 10th largest gifting company online. Then we run IGP for Business, which is India's largest B2B platform for corporates for their gifting needs. Then we run a brand called Interflora, which is the world's largest floral company. And now we are just coming up with a brand called Muska for indulgent food.
Thank you so much, Tarun. So, okay, a quick quiz. How many of you have heard of the 6 brands on stage? 5 brands. 4? Do I have to incentivize putting up arms? I mean, I can't here. So, okay, so you want to go in as a group? Fantastic. Okay, so You know, when I went through these brands, when I was kind of prepping for this interaction, and I dwelled a little deep into the folks sitting out here and the brands that they've built. One thing that struck out to me is the fact that these are brands which are rooted in basics. These are brands which have sustainability as a mantra. In the morning, the gentleman who kickstarted it all, he was talking about ESGs, right? Which is about environment, societal, and governance. I have no idea why they want to make it so complicated as ESG. It's all about the planet, people, and the stakeholders. Okay? So sustainability is core to what they do, and but all said and done, that's all nice. At the end of the day, you need to sell. You need to reach out to your consumers, right? So starting with you, at the Yarn Story, how do you reach out to your consumers? What's been your modus operandi of reaching out to consumers?
So the most vital point is content and the way you put out your product and explain your product. Of course, pre-pandemic, our focus was to be at as many boutique stores with that share the same ethos as us of made in India brands, focusing on aesthetically designed products as well. So we got that there, and then with our website, we sort of communicated through our Instagram channels the ways to use this product apt for the Indian market, creating a gifting experience with our stoles and scarves, because that's a huge market for us, using our stoles and scarves for a person's wedding or for a corporate order or things like that. So we sort of had multiple channels to communicate with the consumer, right from an offline store to online to going into a lot of offline events initially, and now going into different ways of communicating in terms of just how to style a scarf. And that's kind of helped us get more and more people out there to know about our brand.
And is it a one-way communication, or do you listen back from the consumers as well?
We do. I mean, luckily we've got on through a lot of word of mouth marketing. So initially we started with one product, which was a stole with its matching gifting box. So it did really well in the gifting market, and through that we got a lot of customers coming to us online saying that I love this product. And then we went on to create a range of stoles and scarves and pocket squares and men's products, and yeah, that's been our selling point of, I think word of mouth has been great. Traditional marketing, but yeah, that's been a big one for us.
Okay, and if you were talking about stories, you're talking about how content is important for you. So is that a key part of your engagement with customers?
Yes, it is. So like I said, Edamama is not just about selling clothes. It's more about teaching kids an alternate lifestyle. And the brand is deeply rooted in content and storytelling. Like other brands, which are more into selling only products, what we are trying to teach kids is more about a different lifestyle that they can have, which is why we've positioned Ed as the MaRTECH brand. So while it is a 100% sustainable brand, the pricing is very accessible. Most of our customers, we have an equal number of customers coming in from tier 2 and tier 3 cities as well. When we launched the brand, and if you check our social media handles, we have a lot of interaction. So there's a lot of engagement and interaction that we do with mothers and kids. What we do, with every garment that we give away, we have a pouch that is made out of waste fabric, and that pouch contains a seed ball, and with instructions for children to plant, to plant it and grow a plant. So we actually have people getting back to us with stories about how their kids are enjoying it, constantly. We also do upcycle products, which we give away as freebies, so people understand that every part of the garment is reusable.
Okay, no, that's fantastic, because I remember, it's about 6-7 years back, I had ordered something from Pepperfry, and my little one was then about 8 years old, and she was more excited about something that came with the chair, which was a small pouch of seeds. And she was very, very, surprised and very, very keen on getting that, so much so that every 2 years she was asking, where can I get the seeds? But of course, the poor father can't afford a new chair every 2 years. So, but end of the day, that's an engagement, but that engagement makes sense only when you complete the circle, right, and continue on it, rather than it being a one-off, right? And I'm sure that's what you do at Edamama as well.
Yeah, so we're constantly engaging with our customers. in the sense that we get a lot of positive feedback. And like I said, the brand is more about storytelling. We have an entire series of books that we're launching in July, which is the whole adventures of Ed. And Ed is actually a dog in our brand. And it's about a little girl who has superpowers to talk to nature and animals. So that's the next line of engagement. We also have a whole animated series that is going to be soon aired by the end of the year. So we're constantly engaging with the customers and the kids and trying to kind of, inculcate a new set of values. So if they understand that there is an alternate way to live.
Sure.
And, to give back to the planet.
Sure. Now, coming to you, Shishir, obviously, the way you differentiate from the rest of the folks on stage is the longevity of the brand, of your brand. So you've been around for about 10, 12 years, right? Now, things have changed in the past 10 years, right? Right. And things have changed rather rapidly over the past 10 years. So how do you see customer engagement? I understand that you do only D2C, you don't go the marketplace way, right. Which is a very bold step because, the temptation of going the marketplace way to get in the top line is very high. But having said that, then how do you manage the entire aspect of customer engagement? And what have you seen different, let's say 8 years back and now?
So how we engage with the customers in store is by having a stylist, and even online we have a stylist who chats with the customer and actually gives the solution to the customer. If they're going for a wedding or if they're going for a sangeet or if it's a mehndi, we help them create the look for them. So that's something that nobody else is doing, right? So that's how we engage with the customer in store or when they're doing the purchase. Post-purchase, we try to personalize. We try to understand the customer, what's the taste. So every customer is unique for us. Every customer has a different taste in ethnic wear. Someone might like something jazzy, one might like it very sober. So we personalize and then we send recommendations to the customer one-to-one level, and WhatsApp has really helped us do that. And that's how we keep in touch with the customer and keep the customer engaged. We do fashion shows every 6 months, trying to show ourselves that we are keeping ourselves, keeping the trend in mind and showing new collections, and that's how we are keeping our customers engaged.
Okay, and Tarun, how many brands have you onboarded so far?
Sorry, can you repeat?
How many brands have you onboarded so far?
So now we are 4, igp.com,
okay.
IGP for Business, Interflora and Muska.
And all these are only digital?
These are all digital first brands, 100% sales on their own platforms.
Okay, now Shishir obviously comes with the advantage of a physical infrastructure, right? Wherein it becomes a little more easier driving customer engagement, all said and done, right? Because there's someone to talk to. But how do you help your brands do a better job in the customer engagement piece?
Yeah, so I think first is to assess the behavior. Like in a physical store, you know how a consumer is walking through a store. You analyze a lot more as to how a consumer is interacting with your web store. So you first look at that, and at that point, there are various people who would want to, like some people mentioned here about want to chat, pick up the phone and call. There is some level of inhibition around, is this site a real site? I have not heard about it. I think those are questions which most of the D2C brands have. So there is a pre-order sort of journey that you assess, measure, and sort of give comfort to make the purchase. And the moment a purchase is made, we are in a category which is predominantly around occasions, and occasions people remember last minute. So they tend to, like we have a data which says about 35% of the people who place an order immediately want to call and say, would it be delivered on time? Because timing is quite sensitive.
Right.
So that becomes like our second point of interaction with an end consumer. After that, it's like another, like data is king here. And the more you think of scale, you need to look at data. 90% of our consumers across our brands want to write a message that happy birthday, happy anniversary, I love you. So what we do is we have set up a big AI ML which reads 95% of these messages and ascertains that what is the relationship between two people. Is it for a self-consumption or is it to someone else? And basis that data, you communicate differently from a sender or a recipient, or if it is the same person.
Okay, now but how do you, let's say there's a sender and there's a recipient. Who is your consumer, the sender or the recipient?
Yeah, our consumer is the sender.
Not the recipient.
Not the recipient. The sender buys it and sends it to someone else.
So why not? Are you telling the recipient not to use your
No,
services?
so that is something which, let's say an order is placed. After that, how do you package your product? How do you represent your brand to whoever is receiving it? And that experience and journey gets them to repeat. In fact, 16% of our recipients become a consumer within the first month.
Cool. I think that's a pretty high number given the target audience that we're talking about. Any questions so far? No?
Just adding to what Shishir and Tarun said, about 8 to 10 months back when we added WhatsApp to our website, we saw an exponential growth in conversions itself, because you understand what the customer wants, and to be able to guide the customer saying, you know, these are recommended products. Yes, you'll get it within 5 days. Yes, we'll package it well. That has made exponential difference. And now automating those even makes a greater difference. So just the point of interaction at every stage of purchase to checkout makes a huge difference in actual conversions.
Absolutely, and I guess like Atul was mentioning in one of the earlier sessions, it's the post-checkout phase which is the most crucial phase, right? And that's typically been the most ignored, but thanks to D2C brands, I think there's some focus back on it. Otherwise, once you order, and you've just forgotten about it. How many of you represent D2C brands here? A show of hands, please. Okay, any questions for the team now? Yes, sir. Okay, so first things first, I really appreciate a mic, but I'll kind of translate. I mean, did you hear what he said? Okay,
I did
cool.
hear. So typically on our website, it's only a 40% COD. We see on our website, the average order value is a 2,000. So, and we offer COD only up to 2,000. But for some reason, we've never had issues, like you said, trust issues. That's never been a problem. We have a dedicated CX team that takes care of any issues that customers have, and we address it immediately. We've delivered orders to customers on the same day for occasions and things like that. So it's a 40-60 because we see order values in a single day of 18,000, 20,000, 30,000. That's amazing considering the average selling price of our product is $7.99. So we know for a fact that when the customer comes to the website, they do like the product and hence buy multiple garments. So we very rarely have somebody coming and checking out with just one product. About returns, I think the average return rate on our website is just 12%, which again speaks a lot about the product again. I mean, if you check out our product on Myntra, you will see that the average rating that we have on Myntra today is a 4.5 plus. And we have had consistent feedback that people are extremely happy with product. And what we actually want to aim at now is people getting product obsessive in that sense. And strangely, our brand was launched in COVID, so we launched with huge challenges. And we didn't expect it to grow the way it has. But I guess the customer experience is great. And we try and make it as easy for people to come and buy, on the website. Like I said, we always have freebies. Like right now, we've launched Spring Summer with a line of recycled paper collectible animals. So unlike other brands, we try to kind of give back to the child and kind of engage the kids. So we've launched this entire range of collectible animals. So they look forward to receiving something or the other from Ed every time they order.
Right, that answers your question. Now, Akanksha, coming to you, in terms of your clients, so how do you see the entire gamut of customer engagement happening? And if you could just concisely put it together in terms of customer engagement and experience, how do your clients manage it?
Got it. And I love to start with the fact, and even the brands which are sitting here, right? Every brand has a story, right? And as she was speaking, like the kind of insights that we get today about the brand is very important. Now the idea is this communication going back to the customers? Do your customers know about your stories? And that is where engagement plays a very, very important role. And in fact, I think she also mentioned that at each point of time, it's not just post-purchase, but pre-purchase, there's a lot of content building, the community building that has to happen for each brand. That is very, very important. And that is where engagement, a 360-degree view of your customer is very important. In fact, not just the product and the purchase behavior, but the way a consumer or your prospect is interacting with your communication says a lot about them. I mean, I'm pretty sure all of you all would agree to it, but you could tend to send X number of emails, push notifications, SMS to a customer, and the way they are responding to it says a lot about what is the probability of them going ahead and purchasing with you. So here at Netcore, we obviously make sure that that entire 360-degree view of the customer becomes our central story. We first of all understand the customer, from their engagement pattern, understand their intent to purchase, and that is when we hit the nail. So ideally, everybody who purchases with you is not just the important customers, but the one who are, on that fence. How do you move that from them to the fence and then make them your actual customers is very important. So yes, I think, again, there's a very big paradox. We all want to scale up. We all want to go ahead and reach out to the maximum number of customers in RTG. But we also want to personalize the communication.
So just hold on to your thought there.
Yes.
Because we will come to personalization in a bit.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Akanksha, for that, because it's all about how do you know the customer, right? In terms of there's data available, but then how do you make sense of that data?
Exactly.
Now, Aditi, one of the newer ways that a lot of brands seem to be doing in the area of customer engagement is about co-creation. Is that just a fancy word, or is it something that brands actually do?
No, so in my case, like, I'm a graphic designer turned entrepreneur. So I have studied commercial art, which is basically where we are designing for the customer or for the brand right from the beginning. That's what differentiates a commercial artist from a fine artist. So right from the beginning, for me, I think the customer has been the center of my focus. And even our teams, we encourage them to engage with the customers, like via different media, via emails, WhatsApp, social media and stuff like that. So in terms of co-creation that you're talking about, I would like to give you a personal example of something that we sort of realized through these conversations and feedback from customers, and we've implemented in our brand. So since we do a lot of restaurant customizations and stuff, which are fairly simple, because in restaurants you don't need too much going on the plates. It's beautiful, simple glazes and stuff like that. So whenever we used to share any of these pictures and projects on Instagram, we always got a lot of customers asking us for those products, but they aren't for sale because they were made for customers. So there we realized that, there is a market over there that wants these simple, beautiful, minimal products. So that was one. And then when COVID happened, we realized that a lot of house help had stopped coming home and everyone was forced to do their own chores. So that's when actually dishwashers went out of stock. So one more thing that we realized there was that whatever we need to create has to be microwave and dishwasher safe so that people can use it every day. It's easy to use every day, not wait for an occasion to take out. So getting these two learnings together is where we actually created a range called Indus People Basics. Like any fashion brand has their fancy apparel and then they have a range of basics. So that's when we introduced Indus People Basics, which is everyday, beautiful, minimal ceramic ware, which is the kind of work that we do for restaurants. And now it's available to the customer as well. And we actually saw a big push in sales because of that.
Oh, wonderful. I think, and that kind of also validates your thinking in terms of a product line or a merchandise line, right?
Definitely.
Shishir, do you see the same at your end?
So we look at a lot of data, actually. So once the product goes live on our website, we look at data to figure out, what customers are liking. And then, as you said, personalization is the key, right? So then we figure out what the customer is liking. And obviously, that is shown on the top to that customer. So we also personalize to the city level. So suppose you are in New York, you are seeing what people in New York are liking, right? So I know it's not co-create, but that's something that we do personalizing in a way, which is maybe a little bit of co-creation, so that the customer sees what they are looking for, right?
Any customers of Kalki here? Would you want to take her inputs in the next design?
Yeah, sure.
Would you have ideas to share? Wonderful. I think that's co-creation in action, right? In terms of the inputs going in. Obviously, the final call is theirs in terms of whether it should hit the market or not, because there are commercials involved.
Yeah, so I think customer feedback is the key. I think if you are talking to the customer, getting feedback, if they're liking, not liking the design, I think that's what we have done for Co-Create, but there could be other new ideas.
I'd just like to add something about co-creation. We actually announced a planet art contest last year on our website, and we got kids to design T-shirts around the theme of saving planet Earth. The top 10 winners, we actually designed and reproduced, or rather fine-tuned the artworks that came in, and we sold those T-shirts on our website by naming the kids. Like every T-shirt was named after the child. So that was actually involving the kids to kind of, and it's a feel-good factor, right? If you see Ria's T-shirt or whatever, I mean, whatever we named it. So we actually did that, and it was an organic, 100% organic collection that sold out completely.
Oh, that's wonderful. Sachi, but in your line of scarves and squares and all, do you think there's enough scope for co-creation? Do you do co-creation?
So actually, a few years back, some customers were like, we want some more gifting items for couples, like you do mufflers, you do pocket squares, you stole, so, can you put them two together? And then we realized that there's a huge market for just like gifts for him and her. So we sort of created a couple of sets, a couple of him and her sets, packaged them beautifully, created beautiful boxes, personalized them for the customers, and that has become a big product segment for us. For of course, wedding gifts for this, but even for just single, I want to go to somebody's house and, bring something nice, and then they want something for the couple, and that's become a huge product segment where we use our own products, but create these beautiful gift sets for them. So that's been one of our co-creations that we have done.
And how do you guys do it? Do you do it, just on the spur of the moment, or do you have a process behind it? Do you have a team? How is it that you folks do this?
I'd like to add actually, so we have offline in our stores, we do 40% customized garments, which we could call as co-create. So these are brides who are looking for their, their outfit. And there we change the color, we change the work, the styling, everything is done. So it's created for her, right? So it's, I think that's how we customize it to that level.
You have an unfair advantage of having a store.
But we do online also.
Absolutely.
So we do video call, conference, we, customers can talk to the designers and then co-create.
In your case, the categories are mostly gifting categories, right? In terms of flowers and cakes and all?
Yeah, so like 33% of our products are products which are co-created. So we invested a lot into technology. It's a strong cloud-based solution where, see, the perceived value of a product is very important when someone is gifting. And how do you enhance that? By a level of personalization or by an ability to put something which is specific to the recipient or whoever you are sending it to. And that has to be, as Shishir was saying, in a store it's still much more easier because someone can say, okay, can you make this change? Can you put my name? Can you put my initial on a stole? But it took us about 3 years to build a technology where we show a 3-dimensional preview of the photograph to the name to the quotation to anything that a consumer puts in. And that's a very loved feature. To give like people here the conversion rates of products where you can actually allow a co-creation to be done via a level of personalization or some initials or things like that being portrayed on the product are about 4 times higher. Okay, so worthwhile investment into technology. Once you do that, consumers get used to it, and then there is an additional level of stickiness which gets built. Because it's not only the product that I'm buying a product which is actually co-created.
So, I
would just like to add to that. So even in terms of the gifting thing, like gifting is a very large segment of what we do. So not just B2B, but like direct to consumer also. We do a lot of like weddings and personal gifting, and baby announcements is like a huge market in India. So like over here, all these are ideally they are co-created where we personalize, and again, like since we don't have like any great tech and all to show the mock-ups and stuff to the customers, it's we do it, and like we put in that little extra effort to sort of show the customer what it's eventually going to look like, and that's how they even have that trust, and then they come back, and the people receiving the gifts, like, you know, they're getting like a personalized, beautiful product at the end of the day. So again, the recipients become your customers as well.
Wonderful. So, Akanksha, you know, when Aditi and the good people at Indus People, that kind of didn't ring well, but yeah, the good folks at Indus People want to grow, right, want to scale. Do you think you could help?
I mean, definitely, as I mentioned, right, everybody's trying to achieve that personalization and at scale, which is again a paradox, right? The idea here is how do you automate the entire process, right? Today, our personalization platform, you know, as even should agree to that, that in a physical store, it's very easy for somebody to see a product and say, no, I don't like this, maybe show me something, you know, show me something else. And if they like a product, they'll be like, yeah, ye acha lag raha hai, show me more like this, right? Now, how do you do that digitally? How do you do that on a website, right? Today, with simple, low-code, no-code platforms, you can go ahead, understand your customer's behavior, and that's exactly where we come into picture. We understand their website experience. In fact, something as simple as if 4 products were shown to a person while they were looking from their M site or website, if out of those 4 products, if they clicked only on one, there is an implicit feedback that they, hey, you showed me 4 and I only liked 1. What about the rest 3? Don't show that to me again. Now, that's a very simple implicit feedback, but are we incorporating that in our digital journey? And that's where we come into picture, right? We personalize it from that scale to, again, locations, users clicking on the product, purchasing it, and then making it even more better. So even the pre-purchase journey, the kind of inputs that the customer gives you, and it's a very simple story, right? My mom, I come from Bharuch, which is again a tier 2 city, right? And before pandemic, she wouldn't even order online. She was a very big, everything which comes online, I don't trust those brands, and you know, of that mindset. And today my mom will go to every D2C, because she's on Facebook, she's on Instagram, she'll click on websites, and literally she was sitting with me and she does this, that, hey, I saw this product, but don't buy it yet. Scroll down, you'll see more products like this. And when she told me that, I realized that customers are expecting that from the brands today. It's a hygiene. It's not even an extra thing that they want to do. So it's a very simple example, but yeah, personalizing that and automating your personalization process is very important, and that's what Netcore helps you do.
No, that's an excellent story. But here, you know, I'll try to muddy the water a little bit. How many of you think personalization is overrated? No one? Please explain.
Wherein the user is there over your website for the very first time and giving them comfort that, okay, we know you, we know what you want, and then showing those personalized experience to those users on your digital asset will help you more, rather just keep recommending the product, because I'm not going to shop every single day, right? I probably might buy it once or twice a month. So that user experience is really very important, and hence the way you use the personalized behavior is also important. And when we use the term personalization, it's not only on-site behavior. When the user is away from your digital asset, the way you communicate with those users, using different digital communication, because every brand wants to sell by sending different communications. Are you over bothering that individual? And even the content which you're sending to those users are actually relevant to them is going to play a very important role for you.
So which brand, according to you, measures up to these standards?
I would say Amazon, to my satisfaction.
Okay. Any one of you reaching up to the standards?
I agree to what he said. So personalizing
No,
can be very,
are you delivering that level of personalization?
we're trying to.
Okay.
From my experience, we sort of kept a dedicated team person to look at the abandoned checkouts on our website and literally go through them. Of course, the abandoned checkout automated emailer was going, but then to go back and see what the customer is adding to their cart, give them a manual, like give them a call personally saying, where are you stuck, and understanding that journey. And now we've sort of gone on to automate the messages, like text messages for abandoned cart users, and sort of even call them, we've managed to convert them, personalize their experience, give them what they want, and then sort of retain them as a long-time customer also. So just with that one activity, it's been a great help for us. And obviously, like, I know Netcore and companies that offer it at a much higher level, but we're currently using a very small app called Yopto, which is Shopify empowered. And just by sending those automated SMSs for abandoned checkout users has helped us convert much more and personalize the experience, sort of.
I would just like to add something to that. So basically, you know, rather than bombarding the customer with 100 products when they're interested in maybe one or two, I think there are basic plugins into Shopify and stuff which, by the customer data that we receive, you know that, okay, say in my case, this customer has bought one plate and one bowl. Now we have an entire dinner set available in that range. So we know if they've bought it and they've liked it, then we can retarget that customer to buy more from the same range. So they are not seeing everything from like A to Z on our website. They are just literally seeing what they are interested in and what makes sense to them. So I think that sort of targeting is what customers would appreciate rather than get irritated with like too much content.
Absolutely. And you know, from the concept of personalization, I have this very funny story to say, and I can't name the brand because the brand is a client of mine, unfortunately, or fortunately. So I went onto the e-commerce website, I added a particular merchandise to the cart, and after that I got busy with something. It remained in the cart for 5 days. Guess what happened next?
Your cart misses you.
Got an offer.
Your cart misses you. That's the message you should have got.
So I got an email saying that, hey, you seem to have left something in the cart. I said, very good. Then I wait for a couple more days, hoping that elusive discount comes in. Didn't come in. I went back to the cart. I bought the item, only to be told 3 days later that the item is not in stock. Now the problem here is, look, all the check boxes for personalization are checked, right? Figure out customer, added to cart, check. Has he bought, not bought, check. Has he been sleeping for 5 days? Check. Send email to him, check. I'm sorry, if there's something much more interesting, we'd be more than happy to have you guys here. Sorry, I have to be a school principal at times. So all the boxes were checked, but one critical element, which is inventory availability. And let me tell you, I've been seeing technology, I've been seeing retail since '96, as I said. You know, there was this whole concept called, I'm sure you won't have heard of it, called global inventory visibility. It was a big thing. क्या ना हमारे साइट में global inventory visibility है. From a solutions perspective, you will probably understand what I'm saying.
I think I've been there because we've been trying to sell online stock,
Correct.
offline stock together, so I know.
Correct.
It was a big thing earlier.
Correct. What it essentially means is show customer stuff that you can deliver. Simple, right? That's what global inventory visibility is. Now this is a large company that I'm talking about, extremely mature in its processes and technology investments. This one point is missed out. And when I call up the call center, just for the heck of it, right, because I wanted to go through that process, I was told that there seems to be some problem in that particular article that was pulled out. I said, what exactly is the problem? Sir, it's not shippable. Standard answer. So personalization is good, but you should also ensure that the back-end processes, the fulfillment processes are in place to kind of make sure that that entire nice little UI or the user interface works. Right? Agree with me? Yes, sir. Can someone please give him the mic?
Good evening.
Can you a short intro about yourself, maybe?
Pardon?
Short intro about yourself.
Yeah, my name is, I am Major Shankar Karasgi. I am head channel partner of Bharat Petroleum.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to give some input and feedback about personalized services. Around 10 days back, I bought good costly running shoes. And before that, I had logged into some of the websites to search a good quality shoes. I did little search as usual, and as you mentioned, you put your shoes in the cart. I didn't put the shoes in the cart, but I just did some search. And as usual, we know using the all those intelligence, this thing, every time I used to log in, the shoes used to come and appear in front of the, on the screen. So now it's more than 10 days I bought a shoes. But continuously last 10 days, the shoes continue to appear on my screen. Okay. So now how do you get rid of that? Somebody has to identify, find out something about that.
I think what you should do is just confuse the system and search for socks.
So somewhere like, that, it's good that, okay, a lot of artificial intelligence is being used to connect to the customers and all. And thanks to the platform that I could get one of the best shoes, but I didn't buy online, but I went to a shop and bought it because this fitness and size and was very important when you're a runner. So somewhere my request to the expert, the digital D2C platforms is that just look into that part also, so that it should not become an irritating factor for the customers. So that's the point I would.
Yeah, and completely agree. And you know what? Part of it is technology and part of it is business process. Because if you map customer journey properly,
Yes, and I was just about to say.
mapping of customer journey, while it looks a very, very nice little subject to talk about in, in a nice 5-star hotel like this, but the unfortunate part is, and I'm going to be really brutal out here, the unfortunate part is I deal with some of the largest brands in the retail and consumer space. Majority of them do not give a fig's leaf to customer journeys. And without having a focus on customer journeys, and wherein you can be rest assured if you're a good category or if you're a good product, you will have at least 6 or 7 distinct customer journeys to cater to. It can get as complex as that, but people still don't do it, right? So that's what's happened because the algorithm just did it. Now, there is this annual retail conference called the NRF in New York, which happens every year. Thanks to the pandemic, it got ditched in the last 2 years. But NRF is the largest congregation of retailers in the world. About 36,000 retailers come in there, and we talk about the finest in technology. So the gentleman who headed Saks Fifth Avenue, he was the chairperson of NRF, and he said, you know what, people talk about technology, and my guys come and talk about technology here, but let me tell you something. If a lady registers herself as a pregnant lady in the 2nd month of her pregnancy, my system considers her pregnant throughout her lifetime. Because unfortunately, that's a part. But you can't blame technology for it. Right? Technology can only enable you to do a certain thing. So somewhere, people are not giving it the thought that it requires. And it's not a big thought. It's about understanding your core customer journeys. And your categories are pretty focused, right? I mean, you're not a departmental store wherein you have multiple. Of course, you could. I know you have a slightly larger, spectrum of products. But end of the day, it's very important. You concur?
Yeah, it's very important. I mean, in simple words, we're obsessed with our customers. So right from anyone who comes in new also, we're like customer communication and fulfillment of the orders is the first thing that you need to sort of work upon because, and now we've put in sort of standard operating procedures where we make sure that right from, your promptness and reply to the customer should happen within an hour. Otherwise, the customer's gone, they've gone somewhere else, they've chosen some other option. But basically, yeah, right from where you start communicating to the customer when the customer's inquired with you to sort of making sure you follow up with them and talk to them continuously. That could be automated, but you have to have that personal touch with every customer. So I think that's very important.
So pretty much on the same page. Now, these are all the nice goody-woody things, right? Now let's get to some of the darker aspect of things. How do you scale? In a small platform, with a small base, it's all fine. But how do you scale and deliver the same efficiencies that you're talking about?
Yeah, sure. So great question. Gives sleepless nights to all of us, I think. How do we scale? I'll give an example from one of our brands, how we started. So 2016, we launched igp.com. And we would get probably a few hundred visits.
That's a florist site, right? I mean, that's gifting site? Or?
Yeah, gifting site, right? So I'm just giving an example of how.
Sure.
So it's first 100, 200, 500 visits per day you can get via sort of some articles, just popularizing the site. And then you have to start thinking about, look, if there is scale to be achieved, you first need to segregate where all you are going to get consumers from, and then start automating each of these journeys. Google being the first point of protocol, or Facebook, which gives more mid-funnel or larger sort of audience to understand. But once that audience starts to cost you money, right, which happens like probably for all of us and a lot of people here within the first probably 5-6 months, then is when you start thinking about the real value of interacting with that consumer. And that consumer interaction cannot be just pick up the phone and call everybody who has visited your site. You may not have data around that. In certain cases, you may have data, but still you would not have the bandwidth to set up such a large call center for doing that. So I think for us, the journey started from a few hundred visits in 2016 to today. IGP generates about 50 lakh visits per month, or 6 crore visits in a year. And I think the only thing that has helped us is every year we pick a channel which is delivering traffic and try and automate generation of that traffic and then optimization of that traffic, because traffic is not going to come free to you. You will have to pay at some point somewhere, right? So the sooner you start thinking about automation, marketing technologies, putting tools in place which tell you more and more at scale level rather than individually trying to read, I think that's how you will scale fastest.
Thanks. If I could just, I'll come to you, but if I could just take Iffat's notes on this.
I kind of agree with Tarun.
Tarun,
Yeah, with Tarun. You need to have the right kind of automation. So at some point, the website will have to be integrated with the right marketing automation tools. You need a great CX team, and with the right automation there again. The average response time should not be more than a few seconds, because we all know that an average customer doesn't look at a product for more than 4 seconds. I mean, that's what's been proven, right? I mean, the average time that I look at a product is 4 seconds and then move to the next. So if I don't get a response in the time that I'm looking at the product, I'm going to move on to the next and miss the customer, when I'm spending money to acquire customers in the first place. So the first thing that I would talk about in expansion is getting your tech in place and equipping the website with the right marketing automation and tools, which we already have currently. We're currently looking at implementing a lot of AI on the website. So we're actually looking at a dress me up section where kids can come there and virtually kind of dress themselves up and see how they look in clothes. So I think innovation is key, backed by automation and tech, obviously.
Sure, Ifat.
So I'd like to say that I think we try to keep it very basic. I think it's most important that your customer is happy and referring you to 10 other customers. If that's not happening, you're not really going to scale, right? You can get your audience, you can get the paid audience, but that will stop one day, right? So as long as your customer is happy, you have a very high NPS, you're listening to the customer, and that's going to give you the scale. You can get the paid traffic, and then the paid traffic is going to refer other 10 people, and then they're going to refer another 10 people. That's the only way to scale that I understand.
Sure. Any
I would
last
just
words?
like to add something to what everyone said, like in terms of automation and everything, that's right. So in our field, what we do is B2B corporate gifting is a very large segment of what we do. Now, it's actually B2B2C. It's eventually reaching a recipient who can potentially be your customer in the future. So, so far, we've actually lost out on all that data of the thousands of people who've received our gift boxes. We have no way to track that. So this year, before we hit the festive season, we are trying to enable and get like a tech layer through that. Like, so basically, like say if a gift box has an insert going inside, so how can you just have a QR code on that which the recipient can scan, and then you give them some incentive to sort of come onto your website. And that's how you get that data as well. So I think that's how you are expanding and scaling, reaching out more customers rather than, just your regular digital advertising and stuff.
No, fantastic. I think we've touched all three aspects, and you touched on the people aspect of it as well in terms of CRM folks. So people, process, and technology, all three very crucial elements in terms of being able to scale, being able to drive customer engagement and personalization at scale. So we're just about 26 seconds away from closure. I know we've taken questions in between, but if there are any more questions for the audience. Yes, ma'am. If you could use the microphone, please. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, hi. So my name is Shilpa. I wanted to know that all of you all are talking about customer interaction once somebody is there on the website, and then you all have your WhatsApp integrated. How many customers do you have like on a daily basis, assuming that you guys are doing good numbers in business on a daily basis? So is the interaction from your end handled by a human? And is a human able to answer to everybody in that 4-second bracket that you just told me? And, because if I'm assuming that you have like a daily, footfall of around maybe like 25, 30, or maybe 50,000 people. So assuming like, even if like, say around 1% of them are like contacting you via WhatsApp or Instagram. So is the human interaction spontaneous enough? Are you putting it automated? Is the automated giving them the personalized answers that they're looking for? So how are you really going about that?
So Shilpa, I mean, if I can take that answer, the question actually, typically with us, how we function is that we see a lot of traffic coming to us via social media. So Instagram contributes to almost 3% of our conversions on our website. And we have marketing automation tools which actually talk to the customer in a personalized manner. Over and above that, we have a whole ORM team that manages the online reputation management, as we call it. So if they reach out on the website, then there is a bot that is taking care of their queries. If they reach out to Instagram, we have a dedicated team that has an average response time of, I think, 7 to 8 minutes max.
But then I think there are bots out there, right? There are a lot of bots. You can use bots, and they can do the major of the talking. And then when they want to talk to a customer or a sales rep, there's always a sales rep in the back end.
So the most important part is preserving the context when you do the transfer. I think that's crucial. So you'll probably have to take it offline. Since you just 30 seconds for the question answer.
I'll try and make it short.
Sure.
So this is a question I've been asking everybody since morning, everybody I met outside, the gentleman here. I'm a small startup based out of Dehradun. My name is Sarika. We are first year into the brand. And I look at my costs very, very carefully. We are completely self-funded and all of that. And I was listening to Tarun saying that first 500 odd visits, it's okay, but from there to 50 lakhs. When do you decide to invest in technology? Because I know the moment I start talking to any partner outside, it comes with a huge cost. And the sales, of course, will take its own time. It's, brand building time and all of that. So when do you take that call to say that, look, this is the point, the tipping point where you have to invest in marketing integration, logistics integration. So far, we are on Shopify. We're doing everything ourselves. The 2-3 people team that I have, we try and do everything, including engagement. But I know that that's not scalable. To scale up, I have to invest, but at the same time, that comes with a cost. So there's always this trade-off. There is always this question in your mind to say that, okay, when is the right time? So when do you do that?
Can I take that?
Quick one.
Yeah, quick one. Okay, I'll answer it more in layman terms. When you're starting a business, you think about, let's say, in the erstwhile offline world, you would say, should I open a store in my gully or high street or somewhere? Right? That defines how you're thinking about scale of your business. I think technology investments are very similar. If you're thinking that you will achieve 10x growth in the next 2 years, start thinking technology today. If you want to think linearly, I will grow at 20-30%, you can wait it out, and wherever you have bigger pain points, invest only there. So I think it's the founder's vision. It will cost money, but the analogy to that is your mind, how you think scale.
Come back.
And just to add to that, I think you already answered your question when you said that we're just 3 people and how much can we do? Today you could have a tool do that for lakhs of your customer and without any human intervention. So basically our day 0 is the day when I would suggest.
So not surprising that comes from Akanksha.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll give you one thumb rule which has worked for me. Allocate 20% of your total spends towards technology at any point in time. And that way you would be a balanced approach business. We all know broadly margins in any D2C brand. If you keep that aside, you will at least constantly keep doing.
I know I sound like a broken record out here. Map your customer journeys. Find out interventions of the customer with you as the brand. Find out how much of it you need to automate. That will give you the landscape of technology to put in. And then you can phase it out. The point is there's no straight answer to it. You have to plan it out. And like he said, depending on what your vision is in terms of your growth. But it's very important. You might spend 1 crore on technology today just to realize that very significant last mile which you hadn't thought of is missing, right? Or maybe that's delaying that entire process. The whole facade comes down. So it's very important for you to map out. Good idea to get a guy who knows technology, because it is, whether we like it or not, this is digital first. This is about being digitally native. It's about a rapidly changing technology world. You will need someone who has a good handle on technology, the way trends are. But it comes back to the basics of mapping your customer journey, finding out interventions, and deciding what you want to automate. You know, your neighbor might automate 3 out of the 5. You might just want to automate 2 now. Perfectly fine, as long as it aligns to your business. Okay, thank you so much. So, Tarun, Shishir, Ifat, Akanksha, Aditi, and Sachi. Pleasure having you here, and thank you so much for being such a nice panel and indulging me. And guys, had a good time? Thank you so much.